This is your note due diligence list. This is the list that I would ask for. This is actually in your form CD, and you're going to ask for all of these things from the bank. And please note, it says before you make your bid. So these are all the things they should be giving you before you make the bid. Appraisal, the rent roll, the P&L data, that's profit and loss statement. The note, the loan agreement that the owner signed when they signed the note, the mortgage, basically. The deed of trust on the property. The environmental report. Now, this environmental report may be the environmental report that was pulled 3 years ago by the original borrower. When they see, you need to also think, well, someone took out this loan, and so thus these are all the items that have to be there, unless they lost them. And if they lost them, which is that's a possibility. And it's even discounted even further, So, owner partnership operating agreement, they're going to ask for that. The loan approval letter, the bank's internal credit commitment approval, the guarantor's financials at the time. He would have had to show his financials, regardless of whether or not it's a recourse loan or a non-recourse loan. A non-recourse loan means that they take back the property, they won't go after the owner. A recourse loan means it's fully, you can go after the owner for these assets. So obviously a loan with a recourse loan can be worth more to you, especially if you can go after the owner. I mean, you don't want to go after, no one wants to go after an owner, but that's the way it works. UCC lien filing, the zoning information. Okay, so that's your due diligence list. Again, that's in your form CD. Now, when you put in the indicative bid for a note, then this is only a note, not an REO, you want to put in there that you need to see, that you want the right to pull credit on the borrower at that point. So after a bid is accepted, here are some information that affects the value of that collateral. The site visit with deferred maintenance. So now you can go in there and say, hey, this is not looking good to me. You need new roofs, you need all the structural damage, you need all this stuff. Go in there and then you can knock down that note. Notes are very often renegotiated. Very often. Also, information that affects the creditworthiness of the borrower and the guarantor if refinance is an option. So if the borrower was, now you've realized that you have to foreclose, well, that can really devalue that note very quickly. So now you've pulled credit, and now you realize, this guy, the banks can be shrewd. They'll say, oh, you cannot, by the way, you cannot talk to a borrower if you find that deal through the bank. Do not talk to the borrower, you will be blacklisted. They will never want to work with you again. You can ask to talk to the borrower, and they can say yes, but you cannot talk to that borrower if they don't give you the right to do that. So now you've got, and if you do, they're not going to do anything to you, but they'll never do business with you again. It's a well-known, thing that you just don't do that, even though many people make the mistake. So that can highly affect what you're doing because you haven't pulled credit on them before. Now you're pulling credit and you realize, oh my God, this guy who looked really clean when he took out this loan is in a lot of trouble, That devalues the loan. So information that affects the bank's claim that it has first position in the collateral, that will change. All right, so let's go to this one. Key areas you need to do to drill down next. Oh, by the way, drill down, that's another vocabulary word. We use it all the time when we're talking about notes. Oh, I need to drill down into this a little bit. Banks will use it all the time. You can use it all the time. It makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. Drill down. I'm going to drill down and get more information on this. So you're going to try to start understanding your borrower. I Google them constantly. I want to look at every single thing that this guy is doing. You'll start to see certain things, certain signs, things. You'll start to see certain signs that will tell you that this guy that this guy is very concerned about his credit. He is a huge upstanding member of the community. He's in office. He's in government. And you got, he gives all these things to charity, and you can't find anything bad about the guy. That's going to be a borrower that's probably going to pay off this loan. Okay, because he's, so you start looking at different things about this guy that give you hints. So what you got to start to determine your exit strategy. What is the property status? Is it vacant? Is it occupied? Is it occupied by the owner or occupied by a tenant? Now we're looking at smaller places. Is it land? Land isn't worth a lot, by the way. It's very hard to get loans on land now. It's still, you're looking at 10 to 20% loan to value a lot of times because there's no cash flow there. Land is very easy to get for notes. Easiest asset class to buy. Bad developments are the easiest asset classes to buy. Why? Because the risk is a lot higher, Other things that are highly on the market right now are retail malls, strip malls, different things like that. And the reason why is because, there's all this stuff going on the internet. Grandmothers are buying on the internet. They're not going to stores anymore. Offices, people are staying in their underwear and working from home. They don't want to, and there's a whole bunch of studies that are proving that they're just as productive, if not more productive, working from home. So that's making things change a little bit. Okay, so these are some more other things to consider when you're buying notes. You want to know what the foreclosure time frame of the current borrower is? Now, this is what I do. In your Form CD, there is a state-by-state specific guide on exactly what you need to do. What are the processes to go through foreclosure there? But I'm going to call, and once I get a note to underbid, I'm going to call an attorney, not underbid, but I'm looking at the note. I'm going to call an attorney and find out how long it's going to take me to foreclose, what it's going to cost, how hard is it to do, all of the state specifics. And that attorney is going to sit down with me and tell me without usually charging me anything. You're going to look at the foreclosure status. Now this is a note. Is it in pre-foreclosure? Have all the correct notices gone out? Has the bank been following through with the correct filings at the right time? Now you're seeing a whole bunch of banks that are not foreclosing on owners. You're seeing that. But that doesn't mean that it stops the foreclosure process, because they're going to do the foreclosure process step by step by step by step, because every time they miss a date, it starts all over again. They got to start all over again. And if they're going to sell that note, it's going to be more valuable if they're in the foreclosure status. So they're going to keep that thing moving forward. It's going to be very rare that you're going to find not, but you have to make sure that they have been doing it. And they'll just send that to you as part of the package, as part of the box. Color. Color is a great word to use. It also sounds like you're a player. The color of a deal is, tell me a little bit about the color of the deal. Tell me a little bit about this deal that makes me want to buy it. Give me some information on it. What's the street like? Is it what's the color on this?